In this video, I'll show you how to create an event-based schedule. Let's first move into our Schedules folder and select New and Schedule. And we'll give the schedule a name. We'll call this Daily Sales Schedule. In this example, we'll be scheduling a burst. And let's add our burst to the schedule. So here for my burst folder, I'll select Daily Sales Burst. Then we move to the Frequency tab, where we can utilize two different types of event-based schedules. Let's start with event-only. An event-only schedule is based purely on the status of the event. There is no date time associated with this event. Let's add an event. I'll go to my events folder where I've pre-created a few events. We have a database query event and we have a trigger file event. For this example, we'll use a trigger file event. And select. And save. So this schedule, once saved, will start checking for the event at the interval that's been defined in the event, and in this example the event is set to check every 1 minute. InfoBurst will check for this file every 1 minute until it finds the file. When the file is present, the schedule is triggered and the burst will run. In an event-only schedule, we can associate multiple events. So I have here the file event. Let's also add the database query event. So when there are multiple events associated with an event-only schedule, the schedule will not be triggered until all events are true. In this case, the file exists and the database query has returned a trigger value. One note about using event-only schedules: if we select our Schedule tab, you'll notice the Enabled checkbox is grayed out. An event-only schedule cannot be disabled. It is always enabled. The only way to stop an event-only schedule from running is to delete the schedule. If you require the ability to disable a schedule that uses an event, then you'll need to use a schedule that incorporates both date time and event. And we'll look at that example next. Okay, let's create a new schedule. We'll call this Daily Inventory Schedule. We'll add our burst. Move to the Frequency tab. And in this example, we're going to incorporate date, time, and event. This type of schedule is preferable when the event occurs on a regular basis. For example, let's say our event only occurs after a certain time on weekdays. Then we would use a time, date, event schedule as opposed to an event-only schedule, which is a checking for the event day and night, 7 days a week. So for our requirement, we're going to schedule Monday through Friday. Let's say our event always occurs after 5 a.m. So we want this schedule to start checking for its event on these days at that time. We'll also associate the event, and here we'll use a file event. Select and save. So this schedule is now live. So on these days, after 5 a.m., InfoBurst is checking for this file event, in this case every 1 minute. When that event is detected, then the schedule will kick off whatever it contains, in this case the burst. Do note that this type of schedule has an expiry. That means that, let's say on Monday at 5 a.m., InfoBurst will start checking for the event. If that event has not been set after the default 6-hour expiry time, then the schedule will expire, which means it will stop checking the event, and then it will start checking again on the next scheduled day, which is Tuesday at 5 a.m. This expiry period can be modified to your needs. And finally, let's look at an example of an event-based schedule kicking off. Let's go back to our daily sales schedule where we configured 2 events. Let's simplify this. We'll remove the second event, the database query event, and save. So this schedule is waiting for this trigger file event to be set. We'll move over to Monitor and Schedules, and here we can see there's our schedule, daily sales schedule. It's of type event-based, and we can see its status. It is currently waiting. So let's go and drop the trigger file in our share folder. And we'll refresh. And there we can see the schedule's kicked off based on the presence of that trigger file.